Today we're going to learn how to make a crocheted rosette. I've chosen my yarn, which is Red Heart, and I've chosen a size F crochet needle. Now to start our crochet rosette, we need to start by looping our yarn over. We're going to cross it over and bring it into the hole and pull the tail, and that gives us a slip knot to get started. We'll insert the needle, tighten it up. You don't want it too tight, but tighten it up. And now we're going to chain 15. 1, 2, 3. Now we have our chain 15. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a double crochet in the 5th chain from the hook. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to wrap around, come through the first 2, wrap again, and come through the last 2. Now we're going to chain 1 and then do a double crochet into the same chain as you just done the last double crochet. We're going to chain 1 again. Now this time we're going to skip the next chain, and we're going to double crochet in the next chain. 2, chain 1, now double crochet again in the same chain. What we're doing is we're creating a pattern to repeat. So now we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to skip the next chain and double crochet in the next chain. And we'll continue this on until we finish the entire chain. So now that we've made it all the way to the end of the chain, this is what your rosette should look like so far. So now what we're going to do is you're going to chain 3. This will act as a double crochet, and you're going to turn. Now what you're going to do in this first chain 1 hole right here, you're going to do 5 double crochets into that hole. The one on the chain will act as number 6. So you're going to do 5 because you want 6 all together. 2, 3, 4, 5, and that gives us 6. Now you want to put 6 chains in each, 6 double crochets in each of the single chain spaces all the way across. Now when you have gotten all the way to the end, this is what your rosette would look like before we start to roll it. As you can see, it's all curly and loopy. So now people close up their rosettes a couple different ways. Some like to clip the thread or get rid of the needle, and they like to roll it and sew it with a yarn needle to get the rosette. Well, I'm the type of person, I'm like, well, now that we've got the needle in here, why do we have to go and grab another needle? So I'm going to show you a little trick on how to close this rosette up without using a hand needle. It's going to be a little tricky. You may have to watch this a couple times to get it down pat. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting this, closing this rosette using these double crochets that are here in between the rows of double crochet. See these little stitches here? That's what we're going to be using, but we're going to be looking at them from the wrong side. So we're going to start by rolling the fabric in, rolling the rosette in, and we're going to go into this second hole, and we're going to do a slip stitch or single crochet where you just loop through. Now that just closes it up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to roll the rosette over, and when we roll the rosette over, we're going to put the needle and we're going to grab that double crochet, and we're going to go into the next hole and do the same thing and do a slip stitch and bring it through a single crochet. Again, we're going to roll, and as we roll, there's our next double crochet, and there's our next hole. Grab the yarn, pull it through. We're going to roll again, and there's our next double crochet, and there's our next hole. We're going to pull the yarn through, and we're going to loop it. Okay, now we're going to roll again, and we're going to go through the double crochet and through that hole, pull it through, do your single crochet, and then let's get this yarn tail out of the way. We're going to do our last roll, and when we roll, we're going to grab this double crochet and go through the last hole, and we're going to pull the yarn through and do the single crochet. Now I like to take this little piece that's always loose, I like to seal it up as well. So this doesn't really matter which one you use, whichever double crochet is closest or is to this. So I just fold that down there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my double crochet with my needle, and then I'm going to go into the top of this double crochet and I'm going to loop it through. And what that does is seals that tail so it's not flying. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut our yarn, and we're just going to pull the needle out. And I like to make sure that my tails are nice and secure, so I take these two, the beginning tail and the ending tail, and I tie them together in a knot, maybe a couple, 3 times, just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And then now I'm going to cut my thread tails off. And there, see, it's all sewn together on the wrong side, and on the right side you have a beautiful crocheted rosette.